Today on Gettin Deep, we had Amanda Rahim, a professional women's Muay Thai fighter, and we spoke about how and why she became a fighter, what her lifestyle is like as a fighter, and sleep and dream habits.
Amanda Rahim, welcome to the podcast. Women's pro Muay Thai fighter in Western Australia. I've got a bunch of questions to start off. Probably the first one is, and we just mentioned it before, how quick did you turn pro from training?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, excellent question. I've been training since for about 3 years now, and I started fighting 2 years ago. So I pretty much took my first fight within the first year of training.
And what pushed you to go, all right, I'm training now, it's fun, or was before you started training, that was the plan?
It was never the plan to become a professional fighter or to even fight. I went for the sake of trying a new sport, doing something different for fitness. I think I realized that I enjoy sport. I enjoy being challenged. I'm very competitive. I played hockey for 12 years. I've always been a cross-country runner. I guess in terms of Muay Thai, it was just the next challenge, and I just became, interested and obsessed with getting better. And when you do that, coaches take notice of you and they want to be like, you're, obviously got the passion for it. Do you want to try for a fight? So originally it was, they have a local event called the Fight Camp Experience, like inverted commas. Yep. So just to give you a taster of, what it would be like to do a fight camp.
Yep.
And then see, if it's for you, if it's not. But then they have, like a challenging sparring event, but not a fight show at the end. So then they, get to experience it, but not the too much pressure of a original fight show. So originally signed up for that. And then my opponent pulled out a month out from it. So then I was pretty disheartened because, I started, picking up the pace and doing proper training. So then about a week went by and I was came in from my run from the gym because I was running every day before class. And I remember the moment because I came in and I was still, just puffing after a 5K run. And before I could even catch my breath, my coach was like, do you want a real fight? And I'm like, still heavy breathing. And I'm like, okay. Because at that moment, I was like, well, we already done the training, already halfway there. Why not? So that's what I figured, I was like, well, we're already here.
So instead of having a practice fight, it just went straight to
Yeah. So I was just like, yeah, why not? So, and then I guess also from that, before having my first inter-club sparring event, that's usually when just, a couple of gyms get together and you just have kind of scratch match fights. So you get to spar other people, but, under, timed, but, and still wearing pads and stuff. After having my first sparring event, I realized all the things I need to work on. So having
the fight actually made you better.
Yeah, it gives you the opportunity to realize, you're like, oh, I got to pick up my game in this area. I'm not confident in this area. Rather than just, going to class, doing combos or going home, once you have to put it all together, you're like, oh, actually it makes you click about the things you need to work on. So.
Yeah, you can see your flaws a lot easier when someone's swinging at you.
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
I mean, I feel that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've learned a lot from being challenged in the way that, someone beats you, you're like, what, how? You shouldn't be able to beat me, and then that gets you a bit better.
Yeah.
So were you a fighter when you were younger, or is this it's just become because of sport?
A fighter in terms of...
getting in fist fights with other girls?
Oh, not at all. No, I was very introverted, very quiet. I enjoyed violin. I enjoyed books. I enjoyed hockey. I was a hockey nerd.
Yep.
And then that's...
Like field hockey with the little...
Yeah, field hockey.
That's a violent sport, but...
Well, and I was the goalkeeper too, because just by default, because, as the under 11s and under the 13 girls don't really want to be a goalkeeper. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And at the time, my dad was a goalkeeper, so I thought that was pretty cool because then he could coach me in that.
Yeah.
That just gave me... I was competitive and I was challenged, no one else wants to do it. I can do it. I'm tough. So I like being able to, be tough, I guess. I think I was always a tomboy. I knew that.
Yep.
But prior to that, I remember one of my first boyfriends showing me the UFC and I just didn't get it at all. I'm like, I don't understand.
How long ago was that?
That would have been when I was about 19, so probably 2009-ish.
It's like 14 years ago?
Yeah, so that was the first time I watched a UFC match and I'm like, you guys like watching people punch each other? Like, this is weird. Like, I remember, they would wake up early Sunday mornings, put it on pay-per-view, and they'd come around and everyone get psyched, and I'm like just sitting around with everyone and like, I don't get the entertainment value. So yeah, martial art, combat, hand-to-hand combat sports just wasn't for me. I mean, I didn't get it. Now that I've been an athlete, now that I've trained as, a professional Muay Thai fighter, I understand the athleticism.
Yeah.
And now I still don't understand wrestling and jiu-jitsu too much. I get it, how they score it kind of, but I don't understand the moves very well, the transitions, because, Muay Thai is very different.
Muay Thai is all striking, right?
Oh, yeah, well, you have stand-up clinching and you can kick to sweep, but you have to be on your feet to, be an effective fighter. But, I guess watching the UFC, I respect it in the sense of the athleticism, because if you got, a 90-kilo man pinning you down, you're like, how do they survive 5 rounds of that? I don't know. So hats off to them for that athleticism value. So now I watch it in terms of like, I respect that as in how much work they got to get there.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But I went on a tangent from the original question. Not a fighter. No, I think for me, it's more just determination to do something different. I just always wanted to challenge myself, do something different, do something more. I get bored pretty easily, so Muay Thai was something new for me. Yeah.
And you just slipped from there. Just that's it. Now I'm fighting real fights.
I guess so. I think I'm competitive.
Yeah.
I just want to be better.
Does the pain ever, like, what's probably your worst injury? That's probably the best part. What's the worst injury from a fight you've gotten?
The worst injury from a fight. Interesting enough, I haven't gotten any major injuries from fighting. It's mainly from training or sparring where you get hurt the most, because that's when you push yourself the most. If it was just from fighting, it would probably be the first time out of shin pads. So the first time you fight,
and got
shin
the real
pads.
Shin to shin.
So like shin on shin contact. Fortunately for me at that point, I'd conditioned my emotions. I don't remember, I do remember the moment it was hit, but I didn't feel any pain during the fight. It's only as soon as the fight's over and you're backstage.
The adrenaline's gone.
And the adrenaline is still pumping, but I had this welt on my shin, so it was a big blood pool, and you put ice on it, and it's so painful, but you have to put the ice on it, otherwise it'll just keep getting bigger.
Worse.
So that was really painful. That was the most injury, but other than that, it's kind of ongoing pains from being in a hand-to-hand combat kind of thing. And in a spar, like we have sparring every Saturday morning. I did have somebody throw a really heavy knee into my groin, and I had this huge black lump on my pubis for 2 weeks. And
I love how specific words you're using.
Yeah. So, because the individual in question was a 13-year-old boy, and I couldn't really,
Shit.
I couldn't really, yeah. Well, I couldn't blame him, but I also couldn't show him the damage that he had done, so
you just be
really
classified as a pedophile.
You can't do that. But that was pretty rough, because it was pretty ugly, but fortunately, below the belt line, you can't see it. Trying to think of any other injury. I have constant ongoing pains from training.
Yeah.
I used to train 16 hours a week, and not including running every day. Kind of tapered it down a little bit since, because I work full-time and part-time job on the weekend. So probably only down in fight camp, probably down to maybe 10 or 12 hours instead of 16. And then I have a kind of ongoing hip pain, so I've started swimming instead of running. But running's the best thing for clearing my head, and obviously cardio. Like you've watched my last fight.
Yeah, you
did 5 by
gassed the
2
whole
minute
time.
rounds. Yeah, no, that's definitely my strong point. I like 5 rounds. I'll always fight 5 rounds. If I could do 5 by 3, like I would dominate. I absolutely love the cardio part, outplaying the other person in that aspect.
Yeah. You've always been a runner, right?
I used to run when I was a kid. I was in the cross country team, the athletic team. I didn't run as much when I left high school because it was trying to balance uni and work. And then I started running again when I started training Muay Thai. The first week I started running, I absolutely hated it. I'm like, this sucks. But
I feel every time I do it.
Then I realized it was all about correct running shoes. Like, don't just buy off the shelf Nikes because it will hurt your shins and it will hurt your ankles and legs. Buy proper running shoes fitted to you.
Proper fitted? Okay.
Yeah, proper fitted. And I ran with proper shoes on and I wasn't in pain. I was like, oh, I get it. Because I was in pain every single time I ran. And I was literally rolling my ankles every time because I was wearing shit shoes. So
I feel like
shoes.
you've just given me the biggest piece of advice because I'm exactly the same.
It is. That's all it is. It's the right shoes that help, that don't hurt your pain, because I would just come away with like sore ankles and busted shins and like, this sucks.
The shins is the one that kills me.
Yeah.
Like that is fucking wild.
Yeah.
It just feels like you've just been battered.
Yeah, no, it sucks. But interesting enough, I started looking into barefoot running and how much
like sock shoes that like go around between your toes and shit.
Yeah, so they're like shoes that just fit around your foot. So rather than trying to assist your foot arch, it actually strengthens the muscles in your feet rather than trying to give you assistance. So the analogy that I saw online is, if you were running with a Zimmer frame your entire life, that doesn't make any sense because you're not actually strengthening your muscles. So there's a lot of research saying that we're kind of depleting the muscles in our feet because we're relying too much on arch support. So I've considered trying to train like that, and it actually might help my knee and hip injuries, but that's early days for that.
I think there's like because I looked into them before. There's like they do them for hikes as well. They're like in weird shoes where they're like every toe is like in the shoe.
Yep.
Like I shouldn't say in the shoe. It's like its own little bit.
Yeah, correct.
I think if you like go full hard on them straight away, you're like the fuck is it? I'm going to fuck this word up. It's some injury that happens inside your arch, which is like, I think it's plantar fasciitis. That's the one.
Yeah.
And like fully cooks you.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah, so you got to like kind of ease into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because I've looked into it too because I was thinking, because I like walking, I like hikes, all that kind of stuff. But same thing, if you just go straight on full barefoot, you can do a lot of damage. So it's just training the muscles.
It's like getting it slowly there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you think like, because obviously in a fight you're barefoot, right?
Yes.
So do you think that being it like it would train you better for the fight because you have better balance and whatnot because isn't that the idea behind it?
Yeah. So the training that I've looked into is training, strengthening the toe muscles, and strengthening the arch so that you have better reactions in your feet and you have better balance because your foot is much more aware of the muscles that are moving. Rather than relying on your, center of gravity. It's kind of like finding your balance for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a thought before, like I wonder if someone could go skating in them. It's just how weird it would be.
Oh yeah. No, I feel that.
Yeah. Well, you'd like getting flip tricks with your toes would be like a bit easier.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking all the injuries that can happen with.
That's just skateboarding.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
probably just break a
for
couple
sure.
extra toes.
Yeah, for sure.
Just lose the pinky off one side.
Yeah.
So, what was the first fight like? Super daunting going out to the ring. Like, was there a bigger fear that came across you, or was you just like, nope, this is fine. I'm ready to punch on.
I think I didn't know what to expect. I was actually, the first fight happened 2022. Yeah. March Feb or March 22. Originally, it was meant to be early Feb, but then there was a flash lockdown or COVID restrictions. So it wasn't quite a lockdown, but because there was COVID restrictions, venues could still only have 50% capacity.
Yeah.
So the promoters would be running at a loss. So it just made no sense for them to do that. So they postponed the fight a week out. And I was heartbroken because I didn't know, because they didn't have a date at the time.
Yeah.
I was just like, done all this work and like it's just pending. They don't actually know when they're going to move it. So it was more anxiety about not being able to see the fight through. So when they did confirm it, it was relocated to the Subi Theatre, the Regal Theatre, I believe it's called.
Oh, yeah.
The one on the corner.
Another one.
So yeah, the warm-up room was the green room backstage. Oh, well, kind of front backstage. And then you had to walk through the upper lobby and then down down the lobby to the stage. So when you're waiting in the upper lobby, you could see the other fighter there.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I've never done a walkout or a stare down before, but I'm like, I'm just going to pretend like I'm super relaxed and I'm going to try and pretend like I'm staring her down and just like I'm chill and I don't care. But I had no idea. Anyway, so I watched the replay on the TV and I feel like it looks super silly because I have no idea like what to do and I just look super frozen.
Yeah.
So I was fine going on stage, but my first round, so my first fight was 3 rounds, 2-minute rounds.
Yeah.
I held my breath for the whole first round, the full 2 minutes. I came back to my corner and my coach is like, I need you to breathe because your lips are blue. So I realized at that point I was super nervous. I didn't realize that until obviously my coach was like, you need to breathe right now. So I was like, whoops. I guess you don't know what to expect. And when you're...
Especially not being a fighter younger.
Yeah, and going straight into a live stream show. So the stage is super bright. The lights are all on you. There's you can't hear the commentators, but someone announces you on stage. And then obviously the first time hearing the Thai music playing as well. It's kind of, you get into it now. And if you've gone to a lot of live Muay Thai shows or even if you've seen them in Thailand, the music is part of the show and part of the culture. But at the first time you're on stage, the lights are super bright, the music's playing, everything smells like Thai oil, and then someone's coming to punch you in the face. You're like, what do I do? So yeah, it's a lot of reaction. But the first fight for me, is just all about experience, just getting out there, just giving it a go, and that was originally what the fight camp experience was meant to be like. So having that opportunity, put me on the path to be like, okay, I know what I need to work on now, like to get better.
Yeah.
And what I've also heard from other coaches and other fighters, and it's not just about experiencing the fight, it's experiencing the lead up to the fight. What is it that you need to get you in the zone? During fight camp, a week out, a day out, during weigh-in, refuel, how do you need to sleep? What do you need to eat? What do you need to do to relax during the day? What do you need to do relax prior going stage? How long do you need to warm up? All those kind of things. All those things are a part of the fight to make sure that you're in the zone once you step over those ropes.
Yeah, make sure that 10 minutes you are ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's probably the hardest part of, being a woman fighter? Is there anything that makes it seem like, I think right now we're in a bit of a time period where everyone's like, it's sweet. Because I think like, even I watch heaps of UFC, as you know, and no one's like, oh yeah, girl fights crap. Everyone's just like, this is going to be sick. Like they're never bad.
Oh, correct. Yeah. My coach has said several times, if there's a female on the fight card, people are more interested on the female fight on the fight card. One, because yes, it's definitely interesting, but female fighters have a different kind of technique, I suppose. I think
more flexible, like you can move.
Flexible, but also in terms of they're more sport focused and technique focused compared to males who, yes, they do have the techniques and the techniques and the strength, but males get emotional in sense of testosterone.
Yeah.
So yes, the testosterone will happen and then the competitiveness will happen and then they rely on, your training to get through. But females don't have you can't really have as much emotional reaction because you need to concentrate. So it's tiny bit different in the technical sense, but I believe that, all cards should have a female fighters on them just because it makes it more interesting. It gives it more diversity. And people look forward to it. People will pay for, a female headliner for sure.
Oh, I don't doubt it for a second anymore. Like they're not bad.
Yeah. Oh, no,
like,
not at all.
You compare it to like women's NBA, I guess, where people are like, we don't care. Or women's footy, or like, no one cares.
Yeah.
But like girl fighters, everyone's like, yep.
Oh yeah, everyone's into it for sure.
Yeah.
But I think what your question was, what
any bad parts of anything you've had that's made it like a difficult thing?
Yeah, interesting. I think I'm fortunate enough that I have a good fight team, a good coach. For like everybody on my fight team and in my club is very respectful, and I've never really felt treated any differently because I'm a female. That I have heard experiences from other girls trying Muay Thai or martial arts where there's been really old school coaches that treat girls differently. They say they have to, do their push-ups on their knees, or, they have to wear chest guards when they're sparring, or that all the girls have to wear headgear when they're sparring.
So it's like treating them like they're not equal.
Yeah. So that kind of sucks because I didn't get treated any differently as soon as I decided to train as a fighter, and my coach always trained me exactly the same as every other fighter. Ever since day one, I always do push-ups on my knuckles and on my toes. He will never let me do push-ups on my knees. He won't let me stop if I'm crying, or if someone's kicked me in the tit or something like that. Someone kicks you in the nuts, you're allowed to have a couple of minutes and then get back to it. But just because just because I'm a girl, I don't want to be treated any differently. I want to be challenged the exact same way.
Yeah.
I guess
that puts you in a place where you've had 3 title fights in 2 years.
That's the willpower and determination. But and that's got nothing to do with my gender. I guess so, just being a very determined person. In terms of sparring, I'm the smallest person, on the fight team at my gym. So that part is kind of hard in the sense where, I've got to spar everybody who's bigger than me and taller than me and a male. So I guess the gender doesn't really have anything to do with it. I could be a smaller person on the fight team regardless of my gender. I think there are some guys who actually get more competitive because they don't want a girl to beat them up. So
that makes
they
sense.
actually get emotional and they actually hit harder. I try not to let it bother me, but if they're, 90 kilos and I'm, 55 kilos, I'm like, you got to ease up, man. I know you don't like a girl beating on you, but you can't just wail on me when you're like, want to get out. So
especially if you're in the same team.
Oh yeah, for sure. So but that's also learning how to have smart communication when you're sparring. So that's actually another skill to learn when you're sparring is communicating with your sparring partner. And if they're going too light, you'd be like, yeah, come on, you can hit a bit harder. But if they're going too heavy, like, oh, come on, ease up. We're just trying to practice our skills here. We're not trying to give each other, like a black eye or anything. So but
that's a funny thought process, but it makes sense. Like I can imagine there'd be dudes with ego being like, I'm the fucking loser to a chick.
Well, and I've had instances as well where they might not even have good technique or skill, but you can see them get frustrated because they
all base it off strength.
Because I'm just kind of technically, using my cardio and my techniques to, pick them apart, and you can see them get frustrated and then they start just doing wild shots, and then, I actually genuinely get hurt, but only because they're getting their ego hurt, and I'm like, this isn't fun for me anymore, so, but that's the shit that they need to work on. So
yeah. And obviously like it's different when you're in a fight because you're trying to hurt each other.
Yes.
That is the goal. It's to fucking knock you the fuck out. I'll win. Has there been like, but yeah, same weight class, I guess. I'm answering my own question for a second now. Have you had any like people hit you in the ring where they've had just like one shot where you're like, oh, fuck. Like, what am I doing here?
I guess I think every round one, when you're in the ring, you can kind of gauge your opponent, and that one hit kind of wakes you up. You're like, oh, okay, we're fighting now.
Yeah, like the first one.
Yeah. Well, because I fought Fon for my 8th fight, so that was my first pro fight. But that was, that was way out of my weight division. So that was for the bantamweight WBC WA state title. But I'm a flyweight or a lightweight, or most recently mini lightweight or mini flyweight, depending on which grading you use. So bantamweight is 52 to 53, and I usually fight, 50. So Fon was a lot bigger, not a lot bigger, in terms of percentage wise.
Yeah. Well, 2 to 3 kilos is, it makes a difference.
Oh yeah, it's quite a lot, and
it's like 5% at 50.
Oh yeah. People don't think it's that much, but when you usually fight at 50 and then you're versing somebody who's 55, like that percentage wise, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember for that fight, I was underweight the day of weigh-in, and because it was for a title fight, if I didn't meet the criteria, I actually wouldn't qualify for the belt. So I had to drink half a litre of water before I went on the scales to qualify for the fight. Jeez. So I was a little bit out of my depth, but I was still up for the challenge. And I'll send you the replay of that fight too. That was a 5x2.
I think I watched that one.
Yeah, well, that one was against Fon. That was on Muay Thai Grand Prix in May this year.
Yeah.
April, May, June, July. Yeah.
Yeah, she was taller than you, yeah?
Yeah, she was taller than me.
Yeah, by like a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she had just come off a 3-year break, and she needed a competitor. And I couldn't get anyone in my weight class, and they waved the title belt in front of me. I was like, yeah, give it a go, even though I didn't really want to fight at that weight class. I just wanted to fight. So I took it. I knew in round 1 that she had more power than I knew what to do with. I still was competitive and defensive and, still going to give it my all. I just didn't really, know how to navigate that. But so weigh-in, we both weighed in at 52.4. And then so the official weigh-in is 24 hours before the fight. Then you have 24 hours to refuel. And then on the day, when you check in at the venue, you just do a secondary weigh-in, and that's just for the Sports Combat Commission data collection. So secondary weigh-in, I think my weight was 53 or 54. Hers was 57. So
she gained 5 kilos.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So she knew how to refuel, but because
she also knew how to drain herself.
She knew how to because she came a weight class down and I went 3 weight classes up. So we didn't really meet in the middle, and she knew how to cut because she had obviously a bigger muscle mass than I.
Yeah.
So we were 4 kilos difference on the day of the fight, which is a big percentage when you're 53 kilos.
Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Massive difference.
So, but again, I'll send you the replay. I didn't feel outmatched, and considering the weight difference, I could feel the hits were different for sure. I just couldn't get through her, her strong technique. But like I mentioned before, to answer your question, I think it's just definitely the first hit or the first kick that you get in round 1. Not necessarily the first one, but the first good one when you're like, they're ready to bang on, or even it's just like, someone kicks you in the leg or in the ribs, you get a little bit winded or you get knocked on the head and you're like, got to wake up now. But that's why you take as many amateur fights as you can get, because you want to be able to switch on before that happens. You don't want wait around for somebody to, give you a good knock to be able to like, oh shit, we actually got to fight now. So that's the areas that I got to work on, because I'm kind of just like, la-di-da, I'm like, oh, round 3, I'm like, oh, right, we actually have to fight now.
I don't know, your last fight, you looked like you were out of the
My
gate?
last fight was the best fight so far. Like I felt so focused. I felt so ready. I just felt I knew what I had to do, and like I my strong point is just being on the front foot and the pressure, and just pressure them and work what I'm good at. I know that I get a little, hyper focused. Like I'll send you also my replay for my second fight. So my second fight was Road to Legends, in I believe it was July 22. I won that fight by leg kicks. I demolished this other chick's legs, just because she wasn't checking. But because in my mind, you get one clean hit and then your brain's like, oh, let's just keep doing that. So I just kept kicking her legs and didn't really use my hands. So then since that fight camp, it's learning about doing combinations, not just getting focused on one weapon, as the trainers call it.
But if it's working.
Well, then in your brain, you're like, if it's working, sure. But then this fight, I was just like, oh, cool. Like she's got her guard down. I'm just going to punch her in the head. So then my brain was like, oh, that's working. Keep doing that. I didn't really use my combos or my kicks.
Yeah.
So I know, it's area of improvement. Again, coming back to Muay Thai, I've always got something to work on, something to be better at, to improve on. And regardless of the win or loss, that's what I feel like every time I finish a fight. I'm like, cool, that was a great learning experience. I know what I need to work on now. Muay Thai also comes from, a Buddhism, a spirituality. So it teaches you a lot of how to be present and how to be humble, and it's more about the journey and the progression, the self progression, rather than
People up.
trying to win. I guess, and obviously the other background is that Muay Thai comes from, being warriors and stuff, but now it's a, competitive sport. I guess, there's so many different streams we could go down on that point, because, in Thailand they use it as a sport, but as a career, in terms of, you live on the street, you don't have any money, I'm going to go train at a gym, because the gym will give me somewhere to sleep, something to eat. And if I, get in the ring on Friday nights, then I have money to give to my family, or, that kind of stuff. But in Australia, it's more of a sport, and they actually go a lot harder in Australia than they do in Thailand, because in Thailand, you want to fight every weekend or every other weekend. You don't want to beat each other up.
Yeah.
You want to make money next weekend too.
Yeah. So you've got to be nicer.
Yeah.
And that's all literally money, because it's like, this is how I survive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whereas like everyone that's doing it here it's all passion versus that.
Yeah. It's more of a hobby sport than a career. And even in the sense of, if you do if you are fighting full-time professionionally, Muay Thai doesn't really make that much money compared to other sports. If you're a professional athlete, like full-time professional athlete, you either got to have a lot of sponsors, or you got to have another side hustle, either whether that be in sport or nutrition, or something in the same like stream. The big names on the on UFC or on the one championship fight shows, they don't really earn that much money. Like the Muay Thai ones, compared to boxers or those kind of like athletes.
Boxing's just rigged, but.
Well, and it's also interesting too, because there's a lot of gambling involved in Muay Thai, the Thailand, because, they put those events on kind of like the dogs are here in Australia, like.
Heaps of underground dodgy shit going on with it.
Not dodgy shit, but
Well,
like
gambling's illegal in Thailand, isn't it?
It's specifically, put on to,
To bet on.
make money. But yeah, obviously, there's a lot of, other, I guess, gang stuff involved. I don't really know, but like
Gambling's illegal in Thailand.
I'm not really sure.
So it's probably all completely dodgy.
Weed used to be illegal, and now you can buy it in every corner shop. So
yeah, look, I don't agree with gambling being illegal. I think there should be more rules against gambling companies. I know friends that have you can like beat the system. So there's a thing called, what's it called? It's a way that arbitrage betting, where you just use mass and you use the different odds against the different bet makers, so you can find the gap, so you can put an equal amount, so you can make just a little bit more from making the same bets. Like you're betting against yourself, but one company is paying a little bit more, so you go, I make profit here. And if they click onto you, they ban you, which is bullshit, because it's like, hey, This is your fucking. I've managed to find a loophole here. Shouldn't be able to ban me for using your program and beating it.
Yeah, no, gambling's a pretty grey area because even just, when you're watching live sport and the gambling ads come on, but then the note at the end is just like, do you have a problem with gambling? I'm like, I don't know. You're trying to sell it to me, so I'm a bit confused.
I think that's just everything. They're just covering their backs. It's like the fucked up teeth on a ciggy packet.
Yeah.
It's like, this is shit, but buy me.
Yeah.
Just their back covering. But I think, there's something going through I think it was like the Queensland Senate, where there was someone actually questioning the CEOs of like Ladbrokes and Sportsbet and being like, so are you banning people for this? And they're like fucking dodging the question so massively. Like, no, if people are using things to their advantage, it's like, but if they're just using the things to beat you, it's like, but if it's an unfair advantage and it makes it unfair on other people gambling, it's like, what? Your numbers. But yeah, gambling companies are bullshit. They shouldn't exist. Well, they should, but they just should lose. I suppose they wouldn't exist if they were losing. So, is there any thought to move to MMA at any point? Or is it just Muay Thai is what you love, that's it? Or are you thinking, maybe I'll mix it up with some other shit?
Well, as far as my fight careers go, it seems like never say never, but I kind of just want to be good at Muay Thai at the moment. I've only been fighting a short amount of time. I've only been learning a short amount of time. I've only started 3 years ago and I started fighting 2 years ago. I have had 10 fights in 19 months. I had so many.
Active.
Yeah, I've had a lot of back-to-back fight camps and I just want to refine, my technique, and I want to be good at that part. So, not that I would, never say no to not trying another sport or another stream of martial art. I'm for sure down to give it a go, but I kind of just want to be, get good at this current one. Excuse me. I'm sure there are, mixed martial artists out there that have, might have a similar story to me where they started training or fighting a lot later and, might not have as many years experience as their others. And then if you've got the passion and the willpower and the determination, yeah, for sure you can do it. And I definitely have all those, but for me, it's the quality of life for, trying to balance all of my life stuff, I guess. I don't even know how to say it. I think, props off to people who are being able to fight professionally full time or find the sponsors to be able to, fuel that passion. Because for me, if I could do that full time, for sure, I would go down that. I would train as much as I possibly could, whether that be in Muay Thai or learning another sport. But it's for me trying to balance, all my life stuff, balancing working, paying mortgage, paying rent, paying bills, balancing my relationships, being a semi-pro fighter and trying to date people is really fucking hard. Like, people, you just don't have time to talk to people. And if people want to like message you or you want to go on dates, you can't, you can't be like, yeah, you want to go out for drinks on the weekend. I don't drink. Like, I stopped drinking when I started training Muay Thai.
Yeah.
So just even that social aspect, cuts out a lot of people, which is fine. Your friend circle stays the same as it is. So the people that have stuck around, are super patient with me and they get it. Once Amanda's in fight camp, she'll, message us when she's like cool. Or if we're like catching up for food, it'll just be, sushi train, because I'll just like choose a little bit here and there and whatever. But yeah, people, messaging me or like wanting to catch up with me, just don't have the time. So I barely have the time for myself, let alone trying to maintain either that would be, relationships or, a significant other, all that kind of stuff. Like, the right people make just are patient, which is great. I'm so fortunate and grateful for the family that I have. At first they didn't really understand because they're like, I don't get it. But now they kind of do.
You watching UFC 13 years ago.
Yeah. But, they respect me and they love me and they want to support me in anything that I do. So that's great. And then all the friends that have, been able to understand that, it's been really humbling to know that I have a really good support network. Even though it's, super stressful and all that. But, if there's ever, a sponsor that wants to, pay for all my stuff and just lets me train full time, that's all I have to do. I got to wake up in the morning, I go to the gym, and that's all I got to do. Then I would do that for sure. But
you said you're already doing 16 hours a week now.
I was training 16 hours a week. That wasn't really feasible. So, I mean, now I'm about down to maybe 10 or 12 hours.
So pretty much like 2 hours a day?
Yeah, minimum.
And then running on top?
Yes.
And then work?
Yes, yep, correct.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So I can imagine it's pretty hard to keep any kind of and if you're eating this way you do.
Yeah. So you got to maintain, you still have to maintain your diet and your house, and still got to have to maintain your work and professional life. And like, I'm fortunate that, I'm single and no kids. I don't know how people do it with, with a partner and with kids, because kids is a full-time job on its own. I don't know how, props off to I fought 2 other females who are mothers, and the stresses that I went through alone without being a mother, I was like, wow, how do you do that? Because
they're probably just taking out all their rage from their kids.
Well, yeah. Oh, man. So, no, that's so mad respect to them. And I mean, mad respect to their partners to be able to support them through that as well, because that's all you need, even if it's not your partners, but it's just your close family, your close loved ones, your close friends, being able to support you in those goals that you want to choose.
I think the kids
that's what
thing
you
would
need.
be a nightmare. Like, because you'd have to cook your food and their food,
Yes.
which would be 2 different things.
Yeah.
And
Or like you've had a long day and you've been beaten up in training, and then you just get this, oh, mum. I'm like, whoa, don't you love me, like.
I don't know. My kids don't annoy me when I have like that, because they're pretty like chill.
Well, I think they would figure it out real quick,
like,
not to like irritate.
Today, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, don't irritate mum during fight camp, because because I've learnt to take a day of leave on weigh-in day, because I like fast 24 hours before weigh-in.
Well, you're depleted. You'd be
you're just hangry. You're just irritable. So like I'm usually pretty level-headed, but when I don't eat, I'm very irritable. So
I
like
feel like
someone's
that's normal for anyone.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure. So yeah, someone says the wrong thing to me, and then I'm just like, excuse me, like, can't believe you just said that to me. But
do you also go down the path of like dehydrating yourself for your weigh-ins, or do you not need to because you're already at weight?
Yeah, we do a water weight cut.
How's that? Like, is that just fucking torture?
So you do it in the most healthiest way, and when you sign up for the Sports Combat Commission, so in Perth, in WA, if you want to compete on the local fight shows, you have to be a part of. You have to sign up as a fighter on the Sports Combat Commission. So to do that, you have to do a few just online, inductions to understand the hazards and health risks of cutting water weight. So the Combat Commission doesn't condone it, but they understand that fighters will still do it.
Yeah.
So they can give you the most amount of information that they can, so that you're educated on it.
So don't fuck yourself up too bad.
Yes, correct. Because, they want to be able to provide, the opportunities for people to compete in the sport, but in the most healthiest and safest way possible. So the UFC have been trying, not the UFC, the One Championship,
they've got like
trying to implement
hydration
tests.
Yeah.
But 3 months, 1 month, and a couple of weeks out from the actual fight, and then they take the aggregate hydration as well as weight to make sure that you're the correct weight and hydration, the 24 hours before the fight. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure about the metrics on, exactly how they do that.
So I know with one, they've got the weight class is slightly higher because they include that in there.
Yes. Yeah. So then there's less reliance on the 24-hour weight. So then people aren't trying to kill themselves to try and, get to a lower weight and then try and refuel so that they have, some sort of advantage. But yeah, so I think the Perth Commission wanted to kind of implement hydration testing, but because it's such a small committee, they just wouldn't have the
resources or anything.
Yeah, the resources or the administration, because it's quite a lot. You would have to have the admin staff or the laboratory staff collecting them, sampling them, keeping the stocks, keeping the data. That's a lot of just resources and manpower they don't have. So I think they're constantly trying to improve and make it better and make it safer. Like I was a part of a hydration study test where there was a PhD student and he took, don't quote me, but I think maybe 16 or 17 fighters, both male and female, and how much water weight they would lose over a 25-minute period incrementally it might not have been 25 minutes, might be longer, but couldn't remember.
Yeah.
I can send you that study as well, because to see if a hydration test was actually valid, because you could do a hydration test before and after a sauna, and it could be inconclusive about who had actually what the hydration test said that they were, and they actually might not be hydrated, but it might say that they are when they're not. So it's not really a comparable measure because two different people could measure differently.
Yeah. So it has to be based off that singular person as opposed
to... So again, that part is really hard to measure. But so again, we're back to fighters doing a water weight cut so that they can meet a weight class division that they think that they're the best to fight in. So it's got to come down to the education of the coaches and the education of the individual fighter about what is a safe practice for them. I'm fortunate that I have a good coach, and his wife is also a coach at the gym. She's been studying to be a nutritionist, and they've both been through I can't remember how many fights my coaches had, but they've both been through a lot of fight camps, and they've trained a lot of fighters, and they also have a body scan machine at the gym.
Yeah.
So that one is the Elite Body Scans Perth. So they
gets the electricity through you?
Yeah, so you stand on it and then you hold the, paddles, for what, like 30 seconds, a couple of minutes. And then it measures all of your levels rather than just standing on traditional scales and seeing the weight number. So it measures, your body mass, how much water weight you've got, how much fat mass you've got around your legs, your torso, your arms. And then also measures obviously your BMI or your BWI, and then what if you input your age and your height and all that to get your BWI, then it gives you what kind of levels of like what your calorie levels intake should be, all that kind of stuff. So being able to use that as a measure of how hydrated you are is actually very good as well, because then you can see, if you do a test water cut either with a sweatsuit or in a sauna, you can see before and after how much water weight you've lost and if you're still in the optimal or dangerous zone.
Yeah.
So for the last fight camp, we did that.
Did you do the sweatsuit or the sauna?
No, I've done it. I've actually done it all of my fight camps. I don't rely on it too heavily, but the last week we do a water weight cut. We do like a water load and a water cut, and I train the last 5 training sessions. I train in a sweatsuit, and then I do a sauna session at the end.
Oh, so just like training in the sweatsuit, not like the fucking them ones that you sit in where they just cook.
Yeah, not the blanket ones. So like the sauna blanket.
Them things look wild.
Yeah, like I think you can do those because then you don't increase your heart rate so much and you don't have overheating so much. So I do train in a sweatsuit, but that's just to increase, my temperature so that once I get in the sauna that I'm ready to sweat. I think that I still need to educate myself on a lot on what's happening, because I don't think I really need to be as hot as I need to do, because there's risk from overheating. You don't actually need to be that hot to be able to start sweating, and you don't really need to kill yourself in the sauna to start sweating. Like apparently you only need to, hit a certain degrees, which is probably like 50 degrees before you're sweating efficiently.
Yeah.
And it's the changing, you can do, between a 5-10 minute sauna session and then step out and you will still sweat because your body's trying to cool down. So it's the change from the environment, and then you can hop back in the sauna to, keep increasing the sweating. You don't need to cook yourself. You're not a steamed ham.
You're sitting there the whole time.
Yeah. You don't need to be able to, you're not trying to, cook the meat, that's not the aim. But I think you can fry yourself, and there has been like circumstances in one championship and in UFC where fighters have died from kidney failure because they've tried to do a heavy water weight cut and then they refuel ineffectively and their kidneys can't handle it. And that's just really, really sad to hear that professional athletes are dying from kidney failure. Like these are
could be avoided.
Healthy people because they've worked their not entire lives, but in their entire, fight career or sports career to be the fittest person they could possibly be, and then they kill themselves from a water weight cut because because they're straining themselves to meet some weight that was not the correct weight for them, or they just had this idea that that's the best way to do it, and that sucks, and we don't want that for
I don't think it's
athletes.
happened in a few years. I think they're trying to they've clamped on it a bit, but I know it's happened quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. So you want to do it with the safest parameters possible and with the advice from the best people that you've got. I still need to educate myself because I put a lot of trust into my coaches, and I will always trust them and understand them, but I know that everybody still needs to be educated better because there's a lot of things that I do that I still question, but you just don't question your coach, and you should have the I'm trying to think of the word. I guess you should be able to
of what you're doing.
Yeah. You should be able to educate yourself and understand, oh, maybe I do trust my coach and, I want to do what he says, but I want to make sure I'm doing this in the healthiest way possible, not just because it's just like some old school routine that, everybody used to do back in the day. Maybe this isn't the safest way.
Yeah, maybe there's a new way that's better.
Yeah.
That's healthier.
But no, but I've lost 2 kilos. I can lose 2 kilos in a session.
Really?
2 hours. So from running, 2-hour session and a sauna session to 2 kilos water weight easy.
Drop 2 kilos.
Yeah,
fast.
but that's from water loading. So training your body to take in water and drop water. So you can't do that straight away unless you
so you can't just I wouldn't be able to rock up.
Yeah, you can't just be hey, I drank a couple of liters today, put on a sweatsuit in the sauna. No, because you got to train your body to learn how to sweat out that amount with the physical activity.
Yeah.
Because it just wouldn't be very efficient, I guess. But there's some people, who just are instant sweaters when it comes to, sports. So it might be easy for them. But I think, if you're...
I think I've kind of got a bonus. I feel like sweating is kind of like a pain in the ass. So I'm glad I don't do it that quick. So we're fucked. Imagine being an easy sweater. I would hate it.
Yeah, no. So sparring people who are sweaters is difficult because if you try to clinch on them or you kick them and then your foot's all clammy, you're and they're yeah, I'm like this all the time. But you clinch onto somebody and then you're instantly wet. You're ugh.
I'm not doing this anymore. Back
yeah. So, and or people doing burpees, who the sweaters are. There's a pool around them on the gym floor. You're ooh. So.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not that because I would think I would be the worst. So what's kind of the biggest setback you've copped so far from fighting, I guess? What's been the thing you've gone, maybe I don't want to do this? Has there been one of them moments?
Yeah, interesting. I think the most difficult part is food, I think.
You don't get to eat all you want?
After training, becoming a fighter and training as a fighter, you have to let go of a lot of emotions. And I think food is a very emotional thing. It's a comforting thing, but it's also a social thing. And it's also, it's nice to be able to, have a snack or have a chocolate or eat some comfort food or, be able to eat without having to think about it. That's been the hardest part, to train myself with discipline around food because, I'm a snacker. I love snacking, I like having snacks on the go all the time. It just, keeps me occupied. It's great. But then having that restricted is very emotional. But that's been, again, I guess, another challenge for me because I've got to understand, my emotions around food and why does it make me emotional and why do I have to be so attached to it, but then, coming back to the spirituality and the Buddhisms of it, I'm actually really grateful for the abundance of food that I'm allowed to have and, the opportunity to have options of the food that I get to choose, even just that, I can choose what foods I can and can't eat. A lot of people can't, they've got to eat what they got to get or they only eat when they have food, like I'm complaining because I can't have my chocky bickies in the morning with my cup of tea, like it's a privilege of inconvenience. So that's also been an interesting emotional challenge. I guess I can't remember what your original question was. There was another thing I was going to say.
Biggest things have made you go like, maybe I don't want to be a fighter. Yeah.
I think the chronic pain.
Yeah.
The first couple of fight camps, when you're training every day, you get really emotional as well because you're just constantly sore. But then it kind of becomes white noise in the sense, like you get to a threshold where you're sore all the time where it doesn't really matter. So it's kind of weird when you're not sore. And the joke that I make to the new amateur, either beginners or amateur fighters is, they complain about, a bruise on their shin or their arm. And I'm like, you know what the best way to get over it is? And they're like, no, what is it? I'm like, you just bruise the other arm. Like, honestly, like
that was my method as a kid.
No, for sure. And that's the joke that, all dads give you, you're just like.
It's like, I'll break your finger, then you'll know what pain is.
Yeah, exactly. But it's pretty much straight on, like I, for example, say I like bruise my ankle, like, on a Tuesday night, that's going to be sore all until Wednesday, until somebody punches me in the ribs. I don't care about my foot anymore because my ribs are super sore. And then Thursday night, somebody's going to sweep me and I'm going to land on my back and I've got a sore shoulder now. I don't even remember what happened Tuesday, now I'm sore. So it's being constantly in pain. But I think that also makes a resilient fighter because, you're building warriors here and you've got to stop worrying about all these little pains, So once you get in the ring, you're not going to be bothered by any little thing that comes up. It's just
the glory's worth it.
Well, yeah, I guess so. That's what you tell yourself when you're going through all the pain. I think it's just difficult when you got to work and do other things as well and you're at work and you're in pain and you're just like, this sucks, but you still got to go to training that night and but it's also interesting too because once you get in the gym, it kind of gives you that clarity. You don't have that overthinking. You don't have all of that. Like, oh, it sucks in pain. You're at the gym. You're like, oh, this is fine.
You get stuck in the present moment of it.
Yeah. But I guess outside of fight camp, I'm experienced a lot of pains, and that's kind of gives me the back and forth of be like, oh, like I really enjoy fighting and Muay Thai, but I've got all of these ongoing pains from it. So I was just like, do I try and find another sport that's less impact on my body, or do I just keep following this vein till as long as possible? But I've been on and off saying to people, like I want to be able to be active when I'm at retirement age. I still want to go for runs and hikes. When I'm 50, 60, 70, whatever. I still want to have an active lifestyle. I don't want to have to destroy my body now just for the sake of because I can. So it's trying to, learn that balance, like go, all out now, go as hard as I can, but then to what end? Like, will I bust up my knees, my hips, and I won't be able to do any runs or hikes, when I get older. So that part is, that's difficult, but every time I fight and every time you're in the ring, you come back out, that final bell goes and you're like, oh, I get it. I know why I keep coming back here now. And it's just, for me, it gives me clarity. As soon as I finish fighting, I'm just like, oh, I get it. And I know that's just the adrenaline because you're just like, yeah, wow, I want to do that again, and you just want to tell everyone about it and you want to talk about it and talk about what you did good or what you didn't do well or.
You're engaged, you're locked in.
Yeah. And I think I get super excited about it. And if you've seen my fights, as soon as that bell goes, like I hug the other girl and I'm like, did you see that? That was so cool. I had so much fun. I'm like, oh my God. Like I'm so excited at that point. And yeah, obviously before that, you're competitive and they're meant to be, your enemy. But as soon as that bell goes over, I'm just like, oh, I'm so alive. So I know that's adrenaline, but it gives me clarity. So, I guess I could chase that feeling as long as I can, but still trying to balance to what end, how much pain can my body endure. But I think that's also having correct,
like it's your mind
training,
more than your body.
Yeah. Oh man. And it's also it's the longevity, if you have the correct training program, the correct nutrition program, you can be an ongoing athlete. It's just learning all those things outside of that. And like I said, just previously, it's like having the education, not just from your trainers, but educating yourself and not relying on your trainers. And like, not saying that, people's trainers don't have the education, because some of them do, but you you want to be a professional athlete, you got to educate yourself to what can I do better, or what's the best version of me that I can be, through diet and training, strength and conditioning, exercise, even sleep. Like I've done so much reading on sleep now and understanding the importance of sleep for athletes and sleep for healing bodies and just sleep for, being able to heal your body, heal your mind, and having clarity. I don't sleep very well, but that's because I do train late at night and it's hard for me to wind down. But my technique currently is doing, the 90-minute sleep cycle. So as long as I sleep, in the 1.5 hour, 3 hours, 6 hours, 7.5 hour period, so you're not waking up in the middle of your REM sleep, then you have a quality sleep cycle. So I use the app to wake me up at the most efficient time after I go to sleep. And so
you
that's
get woken
balanced
up
me.
every 90 minutes.
No, you don't wake up every 90 minutes. You set your alarm based on when you fall asleep. So you're waking up at the end of a sleep cycle rather than the middle of it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Because if you go on bed at different times or you fall asleep.
Correct. So, so that, because I don't know if you've woken up before from an alarm and your heart's palpitating and you're just like, where the hell am I? And then you feel groggy all day. But some days you wake up.
I've done some pretty weird shit with sleep, so yeah.
But some days you wake up and you're just you're awake, you're fresh, and you have clarity for the whole day, because you've finished the sleep cycle and your body can wake up correctly or naturally. So.
I've got my alarm set as backup. So I turn my alarms off before every morning. I don't get to the alarm.
Oh, that's good.
That's the way I've figured out to get to now, because I'm if I can just wake up before them, then I'm beating the motherfucker.
Yeah, oh no.
And it's a little win every day. It's I beat that motherfucker.
Yeah. No, that's good. I don't like waking up to alarms, but I'm not very good at getting out of bed. And I'm not very good at getting on time things. But the other thing I've also learned is power naps. Power naps are my life now. 20 minutes, exactly.
20 minutes, perfect.
For sure. Yeah. Oh man, I've learned how to do body scan and non-deep sleep rest. So it's being able to close your eyes and control your breath and then scan your body, whether that be 10 or 20 minutes. So I can do a 10-minute one if I'm just doing the breathing exercise.
What do you mean by scan your body?
So body scan as in yoga meditation. So you purposefully identify or just think of that particular muscle from toe to head. So if you can't get to sleep for a power nap, then you close your eyes, you do a few deep breathings, and then you think about your toe muscles, you think about your foot muscles, think about your leg muscles.
Do you move them while you do it, or just think about it?
No, you move it at the end. So the ones that I do is I kind of break my body into 3 sections. So I do, my lower half or my legs downwards, and then you do a deep breath in and then a long breath out, and then deep breath in and then a long breath out, and then you go back to normal breathing, and then you basically just think about all the muscles in your body. So you kind of it's kind of meditating or mindful breathing or mindful relaxing, just to kind of for me, it's just to kind of slow my brain down, or in the way that it's if I can't get to have a nap or anything like that. But then, you kind of wake up out of it and you feel a lot more relaxed, and it feels like you've had a sleep or had a nap. But that's also because, I have a lot of overthinking in my brain, and being able to have a moment and slow down and slow that overthinking down has been, amazing. But yeah, if I can get a power nap in 20 minutes, I'm so good. I even, if you happen to be able to work from home, or if you're fortunate enough to have somewhere to lie down, I have, a blackout mask. That makes a huge difference as well. Put a blackout mask on, I can have a power nap, wake up, I'm good to go.
I don't need the blackout mask.
Oh, that's good.
When
That's amazing.
When it's power nap time, when my body's "Doi, you're done."
Yep.
I'm all right, I'll set my alarm 25 minutes on my phone.
Yep.
And I'll wake up before.
Amazing.
Because it's 25, and then my body, I'm I'm good. And I look at it, it's 3 minutes. I'm it took me 2 minutes to go to sleep then.
Yeah.
And that's I figured it out. It works. It literally will give me 4 hours.
Yep.
If I'm tired, do that, 4 hours,
Yeah.
I've got no problems at all.
Yeah.
Do you get sleep paralysis from a butt? Have you ever had that?
Oh, interesting question.
I've been getting it fucking heaps lately from power naps.
I used to get sleep paralysis previously, but that's because I didn't know what sleep paralysis was, and I used to get anxiety from it and I couldn't get out of it. But now that I sleep better, I don't get sleep paralysis. I think I used to just have a lot of anxiety, so then I would used to half wake up and I wouldn't be able to move. But then now I have I'm more mindful of my body and my breathing. I think I'm a lot more relaxed. So maybe I do have it, but I actually am not anxious when it happens. But no, I don't get sleep paralysis from power naps. I guess it depends on how you would define it, because I have been in a state of I'm aware that my body is asleep, but my mind is not. But I think that's because you've, if you're, lying down, then you've been able to, lower your heart rate, and then that's all that your body needed. And then that's what I've even gained, like from, even if I don't fall asleep, just having a moment to be able to close my eyes, lie down, lower the heart rate. That, even just that is relaxing. So even if I don't think that my brain has gone to sleep, that's all that I needed. And even just like closing my eyes like helps. I was mentioning to you before, I use glasses for work because I stare at a computer screen all day. Sometimes my eyes hurt and I just need to close my eyes, and I feel better having a break from the screen. I mean, and it also sucks that, a lot of our lives are based around looking at screens. So I'm just exhausted from that. So I'm just like, even if I just have a moment, 10 minutes not looking at a screen, that's nice.
So I've recently started getting sleep paralysis again from power naps, which is fucking so weird, because it's always during the day and I can see like my eyes are open, and then I'll be weird and it'll be something weird. Like I had a cat the other day. I don't own a cat. There's no cats in this house. And it was right on my back. Up against, I was like, why the fuck is there a cat on my neck? And then I was trying to move. I was like, I've got sleep paralysis and there's a fucking cat on me. What the fuck? And there's no cat. But I was like, why is this happening like all of a sudden? I was like, I've got to ask other people to do power naps, see if this is a thing.
No, you just have a really good imagination and your brain is just trying to go with it.
Just fuck with me. Here, have now an imaginary cat on your head while you sleep, you fuck.
Yeah. Do you dream? Dream a lot?
Yeah, every night, yeah. I mean, everyone dreams every night, but I remember them.
Remember them, yeah.
Yeah, like I had a very big phase of getting into lucid dreaming and understanding it and trying to astral project and whatnot. And then astral projection led to the fucking sleep paralysis. Mm-hmm. And then Insidious came out the same year that was happening, and then that fucked me. That fucked me right off. That scared the shit out of me. I was like, why is this movie made at this exact time that I'm doing this shit?
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, I can't remember my dreams much anymore, which is frustrating.
You've got to write them down. That's the trick.
Yeah.
If you I write them down on my phone, and if you can try and remember them and write them down, the minute you write them down, they become normal memory.
Yeah, tangible, yeah.
But if you forget them, if you don't,
hard to recall that, yeah.
But the practice of writing it down gets your brain to remember them every morning easier.
Yeah, or if you talk it out loud as soon as you wake up or something like that. Or that's a good idea. I'm going to try and do that.
Yeah, I've got disgusting amounts of notes that are my cooked ass dreams, because some happen. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I'll list it and I'll try and pick tiny little details, because I find there's always a nugget. There's something that's subconsciously fucking with me that's in there that's completely different from the storyline that is my dream. But it's there'll be an animal or a fucking person or something that's a side character that had nothing to do with what was going on. You're like, oh, that's what this is about. And you can figure out, you can piece it together I'm just stressed about that thing.
Yeah. I remember having a lucid dream. I used to work as a fly in, fly out worker, and I remember falling asleep, having sleep paralysis, and it was, in a donga. So I remember looking at the doorway to the bathroom, because if you've ever stayed in a donga before, they're very, very tiny. So you don't really see, you got not much to look at when you're falling asleep. And it was night shift too. So that's why I remember it was light. Anyway, I slowly nodded off and then opened my eyes and the door was still there, but I didn't realize I was dreaming. And I went to stand up. Pardon?
You say a doll?
No, the door. The door to the bathroom. And then, I remember standing up and then walking outside the donga, but it was not where I had fallen asleep. And I knew that, and I started panicking. I'm not panicking. I was just this isn't right. And every time I kept moving, it was a different landscape. And I was just trying to get out And it lasted for ages, and it was so weird because it was one of those moments. I don't know if you've seen I've seen it in a couple of different, series, but one of them I can think of is Rick and Morty, where you like walk to the end of the simulation and you can see that the inside part was just like a simulation dome. Anyway, I was able to like walk outside my dream bubble. When I looked back in, it was the dream. I was just like, I'm trying to get out. How do I get out? Because I knew at that point, I was like, this isn't where I actually live or where I am. And I was so frustrated in the dream. And then so I just like had to like kept climbing out, and then I had to climb back in, and it was such a weird experience because I was there for hours and I was so aware that it was just not where I was meant to be, and then trying to wake up from that. But then I've had other moments where I have been trying to like wake myself up, and then I'm like yelling at myself in my dream, and then you like make murmurs and you can kind of hear yourself when you're
I've had that.
asleep.
Like literally woke myself and gone,
Yeah, no, and I've done that too. And then you're just like in between both things, and then you kind of wake up and you're like, did I really make a noise? I wasn't really sure. I think I made a noise. It was but I don't really get that much anymore. Maybe because I'm so absolutely exhausted now when I sleep, or I just don't get to sleep at all. It's really difficult. I have good quality sleep, or I don't.
It's the practice of remembering it. That's what it is. Because the theory is that everyone dreams every night because it's your subconscious like fucking with shit. But if you practice remembering, you start remembering it more and more, and you can like drag that out for longer.
Yeah, I want to do that. That's cool.
Yeah. And it's like, I had this theory. There was a period of time where I was like, now I can live 24 hours a day. Because like, if you can figure out how to like wake up in your dreams, you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah. Like
you can literally do as you please. It's pretty fun. And you're like, am I even sleeping anymore?
Yeah.
Like I'm just doing all this fucked up shit in my brain while I sleep.
Yeah.
I remember explaining to someone, I was like, mate, you're fucked in the head. I was like, no, it's a thing.
No, I know. I like that. That's cool. You don't have to like spend your like evenings trying to stay up late because you think you're not getting enough playtime, but
do way cooler shit in your dreams. You can fly around, do whatever the fuck you want. You're like, I don't need to be in real life anymore. Let's go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sick.
There was a period, but I got stuck in this, I call it like a sleep paralysis loop, but it like wasn't that. It's where I'd wake up, but I'd never actually wake up. I'd wake up, think I'm awake, but I'm not. And then I get stuck in that like 5-6 times over. Yeah. It was when I was stressing about getting to work on time, when I was waking up way too early. And then I'd be like, I'm awake. And I'm like, oh. And then I'd wake up again. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I've already done this.
Yeah.
I'm glad that never happens anymore. That's torture.
Yeah. No, that's good.
But yes, I'll wrap it up here. I think we've done about an hour. You got anything you want to plug?
I wasn't
going to say that. I still did.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. No, that's all good. No, I guess I want to thank Shani from Elite Body Scans. She's been able to help me through all of my fight camps so far, and Vanessa from Bodyworks. She's been able to provide me, with remedial massage and just like somebody to talk to, like mindfully. It's great to be able to have people who want to listen.
Yep.
That stuff's emotional. Sometimes you get it off your chest, and people willing to listen. That's beautiful. I love that. Yeah, so thanks.
Yep. And you got any fights coming up?
Not presently. I was trying to get on the Infliction Fight Show, which was on the Gold Coast for the 16th of December. I'm still going. I'm not fighting, but there is a 4-woman tournament, which is super exciting because they've only ever had 4-man tournaments. So it's tournament style where you have 4 fighters. So 2 fight each other first, and the winner of those fights on the main event. Yeah. So you get 2 fights in one night, and that's a wicked setup because you're not just training for one fight. You got to be able to train for the next fight, and there's so many different.
There's so many variations of it.
Yeah, because like what if you get injured, or what if you like gas yourself, or what if the other person watches your fight and they not as gassed as you or not as injured as you. Man, that's sick. And the winner gets, for this fight show that I'm gonna watch, winner is gonna win 10 grand. So it's super exciting. There's a female fighter coming from WA, Bryony Sodden. So she's a champion from WA. She's been fighting on the nationals overseas. Yeah, she's got an amazing record. She's one of the best fighters to watch from WA. So
Bonnie Summers?
Sodden.
Sodden,
Yeah, so she fights out of Three Lions Gym. Yeah, look her up. She's really good. She's mentored me in like a lot of areas. She's been great. I look up to her quite a lot, you know. So yeah, that one is what I'm watching. Unfortunately, I tried to get a match for that one. The girl that we tried to match against, she said no. She looked at my last fight and she was like, nah, too much power. I'm like, where's your poker face? Don't just give up so easily. Like, where you're up for the challenge. So that's December 16th. Going to go to the Gold Coast, watch that. Next fight show is February, Muay Thai Grand Prix. I haven't got a match for it yet. So we're trying to get a match. It's difficult because the weight division that I'm in, my ideal weight is around the 49, 50 kilo mark. My last weight, I was actually at 48.6 for my official weigh-in. So that's the mini flyweight division. So there's not really many female fighters in my division in WA. So I might have to go up to, the 50 to 52 to get a match for that one. And then after that, we've put my name down for the Destiny fight show, which I believe is on the Gold Coast in March. So that's 100 days, 102 days, 106 days from today. Unfortunately no current ones in the pipeline, but yeah, hopefully we'll get one soon.
A few possibly coming up.
Yeah, possible. We'll see.
There actually was another question I was going to ask you and you reminded me about it.
Yes.
Have you fought anywhere outside of WA yet?
Yeah, I fought at the national championships on the Gold Coast this time last year, so in October last year. So I'd only had 3 or 4 fights by that point. So that would have been my 4th fight. Yeah, so I had 3 fights prior to that one. So the nationals was my 4th fight. So because I had only had 3 fights, I was in like B division or something like that. So if you have 3 fights or less, then you're in a lower grade division. So there was actually only one other girl in my division to fight. So we were fighting for silver and gold. So I won against her, and so I got gold in my division, which was great. Other weird fun fact was someone afterwards told me, she's like famous on TikTok, and I'm just like, oh yeah. So
bash the TikToker.
Yeah, I don't even know. Apparently she's got, like 30 to 50K followers. I'm just like, oh, I guess, well, that doesn't really make a difference in, whether fighting a Muay Thai. But that was really interesting to me because I'm like, you don't have a chance because you don't know who you're competing until on the day. So I didn't really have a chance to look her up. So I don't know.
That is kind of like, I guess, a bonus if you're trying to get sponsors and whatnot. Because you can be like, well, I'll beat this chick and she's got heaps of followers. So now I'm just going to start my own TikTok up. And
oh, yeah, maybe. I'm not very good when it comes to social media. I get burnt out as it is just trying to keep up with family and friends. I'm not.
To say, isn't your job marketing?
Oh my gosh. I've jumped over to like events and like scheduling now as opposed to social media marketing. It's just, it burns my brain. I'd rather delegate the task to somebody else. Unfortunately, in the kind of like climate that it is, if you want sponsors, you got to have a really good Instagram following or TikTok or whatever.
It all matters.
To be able to, it's more so being able to, promote your sponsors, so, they might get new customers, but then also
they're profitable
selling
and the rate
tickets.
they give you money.
Yeah, no, and promoters will put you on a fight show if they know that you can sell tickets. You could have a shit record or you can be a shit fighter, but you're going to sell 10 tables. Yeah, they're going to put you on the main card. They're like, yeah, that person's got a good following. They're going to sell a lot of tickets. Like, we'll put them on their event, on our event, and you could still do it old school, before, Instagram days and before social media days, you could still get mates and friends and a following just from like promoting yourself or, going to, your workplaces or your friends' places or getting the word out, and you could still get a crew and sell a couple of tables to be able to, and then you can still do it. It's still having the available time and energy to do that for sure.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it feels like you need to have a social media team following you around with a camera, or you just got to,
you've got to have
schedule,
a good enough angle.
Yeah, or schedule your content all ahead in advance just so you can keep the upkeep. I'm not very good at that. I keep to the bare minimum, and if anything, my Instagram is to be able to share my journey, because I started collecting all these photos and videos, and I just want to journal that for myself and just sharing it with my close friends and family. I never really intended it to gain a following for the purpose of gaining sponsors. Ideally, that happens organically, but in a very niche sport as it is, you still have to work hard to be able to find those. At the moment I'm selling t-shirts. I was wearing it earlier, but to the gym, my Muay Thai Amanda shirt. I sold those to my gym mates and friends and family members for my just recent fight, and that was cool. And that's what a lot of fighters do. They sell their own merch, trying to fund their own fight camps. That's great. I'll always support other fighters, whether that be from other gyms or other WA fighters. If they're going to sell their shirt, I'll pay $50 just to help them out.
Yeah.
It's like, even if you don't wear that shirt, you just wear it as a, around the house shirt, whatever. It's trying to support local sports. That's also.
Yeah, trying to help other people move a little bit more further in a better direction.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, sweet. Well, thanks for coming on.
No worries. Thanks so much.